So welcome to the Numerology of Business Masterclass. I want to thank everybody for being here, for those who are able to be present with me as I'm recording this, and for all of you who are catching the replay. I'm really excited about this because it is one of my favorite things to talk about, one of my favorite things to do, and that is the energetics behind strategy. So I have some pure magic planned for us in the next 3 days. Each day is going to have a different topic. Today, we're going to be discussing the language of numbers as it relates to energetics behind the strategy. We're going to weave the energetics of the language of numbers in with the intelligence of the heart to amplify it on day 2. And day 3 is going to be all about taking the energetics and mashing it up with a strategy for expansion and growth. You can see why I'm really excited about this, right? Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Anne-Marie McKenzie. I am a soulful business strategist, a professional numerologist, and a psychic spiritual teacher. I have been doing this for this particular business for 10 years. I kicked it off actually in 2013. That's when I started to understand my why. And back then, I was still working for a corporation. I was not happy in my career. I did an amazing job, what it was that I was doing for the community and the people that I was working with, but I was missing the joy in my life. I was missing the joy in my work. And there was still a couple pieces of the puzzle in terms of my purpose and what it was that I am here to do. All of that was affecting my relationships negatively, and it was impacting my health. I was experiencing a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. The relationships that I had were very toxic. They were very codependent, and I needed to make some big changes. It was really cool. My mom had sent me, this dates me a little bit, but my mom had sent me a pack of burned CDs with movies on them. And one of the movies was Jim Carrey's Yes Man. I absolutely love Jim. And because of that movie and the funk that I was in, I decided to start saying yes to everything. And I ran into somebody on the streets, this woman that always did these really fun, incredible gatherings. We would do vision boards, we would do soup exchanges. And she said, Annie, I'm so excited to see you. I wanted to ask. And before she could even get it out, I said yes because of this movie. And she's like, you don't even know what I've asked you to do. I said, doesn't matter. It's a yes. It's everything I do with you is feel good. And it was to go see 2 women speak in Vancouver. And these women I had never heard of before, Gabrielle Bernstein and Danielle Laporte. And that event, number 1, the first thing that really spoke to my heart was Danielle asked the crowd, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And my response was, being right makes me happy. Fuck, I'm missing the point. Right? And Gabby was really encouraging all of us to use meditation as a form of change, as a way to shift our own electromagnetic field. Now, at the time, I didn't really resonate that much with what Gabby was talking about. I leaned more towards Danielle and her desire map process, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But one thing that came from it was this group of women started to gather, and we got Gabby's free book, May Cause Miracles, and we started to have the deep, intimate conversations about things that we wouldn't normally talk about. From that, spearheaded my deep dive into the desire map, which was emotional intelligence. I didn't want to do the work at first. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It was scary. I recognized that there was a lot of changes that I need to make, and it just felt so overwhelming and so big. But one thing that I did do was work towards improving my emotional intelligence. And that was understanding how it is that I was feeling, being able to identify it, being able to talk about it and understand it, and communicate it in a way to amplify my empathy and compassion for myself and for other people. I'm so grateful that I did that, because in 2014, I was hit with something extremely unexpected. The universe blindsided me, and my mother called to tell me that she had cancer. Within 5 months, she was gone. Throughout that process, I dropped everything. I left my career. and I flew across the country to spend weeks with her at a time. I would come back for a 1-week break. And as my heart was breaking, as I was losing this woman that, to be truthful, I didn't have a great relationship with the majority of my life, but we had just turned it around. I was able to really root into emotional intelligence and heart intelligence and ask myself and decide, how do I want to feel going through one of the most traumatic things in my life? And I held on to that. I held on to these words of gratitude, abundance, love. And I was able to show up for her and my family in a way that shone so bright for everybody that I received one of the greatest honors in my family, in my opinion. My papa said, "You did it, girl. You did it. You became the person that I knew you always could be." It was like this movie moment. And then we cracked a beer. It was probably a really shitty beer, like Busch Light or something like that. And we just enjoyed each other's company. This is where the why in my business birthed. My background is in leadership and facilitation. I've worked in corporate team building settings. I've had my own businesses. I've had several different businesses, some in the health and wellness industry, in the education industry. I was gifted the opportunity to be a partner in a private school in the education sector for 8 years. My very first business was literally using hemp to build things like macrame things and sell them. This is when I was 16 years old because I left home and I needed to make some extra cash. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I grew up in a family on both sides that had family businesses. On my mother's side, it was a farm. On my father's side, it was an auction house. So I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I've always understood business. Sometimes I was taught how not to do business before I really learned how to do business. So all of that experience, mashing that up with my deep why, is how I was able to birth this in 2014. One of the reasons why my mother and I didn't have a great relationship and why we struggled, and this includes my little brother, is because of our lack of emotional intelligence. Because we didn't understand how it is that we felt. We couldn't articulate it in a way that was loving and kind and compassionate. And we were not able to heal from our traumas. I'm still doing the work. I feel that I have made tremendous strides in my business. Those who knew me in high school, who are still in my life, they often say to me, "We don't understand how you became who it is that you are based on the life that you were handed." And I feel so honored when they say things like that to me. It makes me feel like I've made it. So in 2014, after losing her, I literally questioned everything in my life. What am I doing here? What is my purpose? Am I reaching my highest potential? Could I be doing something differently? Is it possible to have relationships that are deeper, more authentic? Is it possible to reach higher levels of abundance by being a healer, by being a light worker, by infusing spirituality? One of the blessings that came through in my life and one of the evidence of flow that came through was as I was deciding all of this and going through the desire map process, Danielle Laporte offered the ability to be a desire map facilitator, and I jumped. And that's how I started my business. I gathered women in parks, asked them to bring a blanket, and I asked them one of the most profound questions that changed my life. How do you want to feel? So simple, and yet created a massive impact. And from there, I started desire mapping everybody. I literally desire mapped everybody. So I worked with a lot of women and gathered women in workshops and retreats and circles, but I also worked with couples. I worked with teens. I worked with nonprofits. I worked with small businesses. I worked with corporations. And I really took the basis of emotional intelligence and heart intelligence and started teaching other people how to understand that our goals, everything that we are seeking outside of ourselves, is actually attached to a feeling. In 2018, I was able to leave my corporate job. I also left an 11-year relationship. I sold my apartment and I changed everything. This is a part of my energetic code. When I change something, I change everything. And the older I get and the wiser I get, I try to do it in a way that isn't as disruptive as I used to do when I was younger. In 2019, I literally changed everything. I had a contract. I was still hosting retreats. I was hosting workshops, but there was this organization that I was working with, and it was not aligned with everything that I was teaching and everything that I was saying. And the support wasn't there. The gratitude wasn't there. It literally just didn't feel how it is that I wanted to feel. And so I decided to walk my own talk, and I called a meeting. And I remember the president and the vice president looking at each other. And there was another person in the room as well. They had formed this pretend committee for this conversation. And the president and the vice president were looking at each other like, okay, do you want to start? Should I start? Like, should we get this going? And I said, I'll start. I quit. I'm done. Their jaws dropped. They said, is this because of the decision we made last night in the meeting? Yes, it is. I repeatedly asked you to let me do the job that you've hired me to do, and you won't let me do it. I've consistently watched you throw me under the bus, put blame on me, not take responsibility for the choices. This is supposed to be an organization that works together. I do not see teamwork. I see you expecting somebody who you're only paying 20 hours a week to do 40, 50, 60 hours of work. It doesn't work for me. I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I'm going to stay with you until you find the right person, and I'm going to help you find the right person. It was amazing. I was so proud of myself. Just after I did that, the world shut down. And I was like, what the did I do? Oh my gosh, this is my main source of income. And when I started my business, I was trying to do things online. But what was really fun to look back, everybody that I was authentically attracting were people in my community. So we'd meet on a Zoom call, and then at the end, they'd say, can we just meet at a coffee shop next time? I'll offer my house. We can get together in my house. They just always wanted it to be in person. So I was a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of wanting to build things online. As you know, 2020 forced me to be online with everybody else. So I went through a lot of changes. I had to invest in myself in bigger, grander ways to understand aspects of my business that I didn't know before in order to work, because it was not an option for me to go and build somebody else's dreams anymore. I was building my own. In 2021, that's when numerology came on board, and it was by accident. I had said to a friend, I'm going to become a badass at managing my money and calling it abundance. And she kind of had a chuckle. And she said, how are you going to go about doing this? I'm like, I'm hiring a better bookkeeper, and I'm going to get an accountant, and I'm going to use QuickBooks, and I'm going to look at my reports. Such a masculine approach, which is the exact opposite of what I was teaching my clients. She held a mirror up for me, and I laughed at myself. And she said, I have a suggestion. Why don't you join this 3 free series masterclass, just like I'm doing for you? And it's going to, build your relationship with numbers. So I really had no idea what I was saying yes to, but I trusted this person. So I said yes. And that was my introduction to numerology. Everything that Megan Alton, she is a dear friend of mine. She is my mentor. She supports me in my business. She is a numerology queen. She has taught me everything that I know and introduced me to other numerologists that have helped expand my knowledge and wisdom. Everything that she said on that call completely spoke to me. It felt like truth. It felt like I had heard it before. This wasn't new information. It was a remembering. I have studied numerology before. I have been an entrepreneur in many lifetimes. I have utilized the language of numbers and the intelligence of our heart. Both of these are modalities that allow us to speak with the universe, that allow us to understand our soul and its code, and supports us in creating a relationship with the universe like we've never had before. We often forget the universe wants us to win. We often forget that the universe has our back. When we understand things like the language of numbers and the energetics of numbers. And then when we combine it with the intelligence of our heart, we're able to collapse time and take quantum leaps. This not only has allowed me to grow tremendously in my business. The first year I implemented numerology in my business, I doubled. And I actually didn't really have a strategy. I'm totally a strategist. It's one of my top strengths. I just decided to have fun with it and integrate it into everything I was already doing. And what was amazing was I realized, number one, my soulmate clients got really clear. It was not a coincidence that the majority of people that I was attracting had multiple ones in their birthday. Oftentimes it's 4 ones, 3 ones, 2 ones. That is not a coincidence. So I knew I was attracting the ideators, the innovators, the people that are here to forge new paths, to do things differently. They're really great at starting things, but not great at finishing them. And they get very hard on themselves because they don't complete those things. So when they come into my world, if this is you, I'm here to remind you. And I've had 1111, now I'm getting 1122. Oh, I love this. I'm here to remind you that if you have all of those ones in your chart, but only 1-9, for example, 1-9 and 4 ones means you're only actually meant to complete 25% of your ideas. Such a relief, isn't it? To give ourselves the space and grace to not complete the things that we start. Because if it doesn't feel how it is that you want to feel, what's the point? Numerology has also helped me understand my soulmate clients from a much deeper cosmic level. Our soulmate clients are literally written in the stars. By being who it is that we came here to do, by doing the work that we came here to do, we connect to our soulmate clients. Numerology is connected to cardology. It was hidden in a deck of cards. So 4 of Hearts is my soulmate client card. And I laughed and I cried when I learned this information, because back in 2014, when I kicked this business off, I did Marie Forleo's B School. And there was a section of B School called Ideal Customer Avatar, which I can't, like, thinking of soulmate clients as an avatar now just gives me the heebie-jeebies. But I did this process and I literally described the 4 of Hearts. But at the time, I didn't believe it. Who am I to work with people who want to have it all? I don't have it all. Who am I to call in people that want to have a successful business when mine's not successful yet? It's a side hustle. And that want to have deep, meaningful relationships in their life. I don't have that. Who am I to call in people who are badasses at making money, creating sustainable businesses, who want to have their cake and eat it too? Because I don't have those things. And particularly the 4 of Hearts relates to family. It's somebody that really wants to have a family. They want to connect with their soul family. And because my upbringing was so traumatic and was so difficult, again, I didn't believe it. And so I moved in another direction. When numerology came on board and I was introduced to the 4 of Hearts, I cried. I was like, I knew this all along. My intuition knew this all along. And I'm here to support people to understand not just our earth family, but more importantly, our soul family. And that made sense to me. I've always worked with a spiritual support team. I've always been psychic. When I was a little girl, I was chit-chatting to ghosts in the old farmhouse of my grandma and grandpa's. But I didn't own it. I didn't take responsibility for that as the 7 of Clubs. So there's so many things that numerology can do for us. And today I'm going to introduce you some of those layers. Many of you on the call are numerologists or who have studied numerology. I'm just going to trust that if anybody has numerology questions while I'm talking about this, that you're going to support them in the chat. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you can also pop onto ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will do calculations for you if you want, and will give you brief, basic insights. I wouldn't rely on it though. I have tested this several times. and it's very generic and it's very basic. And sometimes it falls flat, but at least it gives you like the basics and the foundation and points you in a direction to understand where it is that you need to go next. Okay. So what the heck is numerology, right? And why do I love it so much? I've had this conversation with people in other communities that I'm in. I love it. And it's my number one favorite thing in terms of personal development. Why? Well, first of all, I've done them all. Somebody who's been in corporate team building for 10 years, I have done all of the personality tests out there that are possible. And what I love about numerology is its complexity, but at the same time, it's simplicity. There aren't these fancy dancy words that we've never heard of before. I mean, I love astrology, but it's complicated. There's a lot to figure out. With numerology, it's numbers. We have worked with numbers since we were so young, since we were 1, 2 years old. It's something that has been ingrained in us our entire lives. Not only is it ancient wisdom that can be dated back to about 10,000 years, it's rooted in math and science. Numerology is predictive, energetic patterns in the universe. We are coded with our own energetic pattern, and so is the universe. And this information allows us to decode the universe, to understand our soul's contract, the reason that we came to Earth School, our purpose, and helps us navigate the challenges in our lives in these experiences with more grace, more momentum, and more ease. We are not meant to struggle or suffer. Those things are a choice. We are meant to go through the darkness in order to find and access higher levels of light, but it is not meant to be as difficult as sometimes it feels like. And numerology can help us with that. Numerology reminded me, and I hope this is one of the biggest takeaways that you get from today, that freedom is our birthright. Abundance, it's our birthright. Joy is our birthright. Love is our birthright. We came to Earth School. Our soul chose to incarnate here in this lifetime, not to suffer, not to struggle, not to live in scarcity, but to feel higher levels of freedom, abundance, joy, and love, and so much more. You are all of these things and so much more. And numerology, coupled with heart intelligence and a little bit of strategy, sprinkle all that magical with the practical, can support you to access higher levels of freedom, abundance, joy, and love. That's what I want for you. When you use a method like numerology, how does it work? You begin to understand your energetic code and you understand those predictive patterns in the universe. That's authentic. Authenticity is so magnetic. It is one of the highest vibrations and frequencies on the planet when we tap into authenticity. And this is how we start attracting our soulmate clients with ease as well. When we step into the layers of our energetic code, when we shift our mindset to believe, this is who I am. This is who I came here to be. These are my strengths. These are my gifts. This is who I am meant to serve. All of these experiences have brought me to this moment right here to support specific people to solve a problem, to solve a challenge. And you are able to do that not only because you are coded for it, but the universe gifted you so many opportunities that allowed you to learn and grow. In other words, you've climbed the mountain. Maybe you're not fully at the top, but there's people out there that are like, Where's this mountain? And you've got the map to show them how to get there. And you have some of the skills and the experience to teach them how to get up that mountain. And you have people on the mountain as well that maybe are a little bit higher up on the mountain. Some mentors, some guides, some teachers, some coaches, your soul family. They're reaching their hand out to say, when you're ready, we're here to help you climb up the mountain a little bit higher. And when we do that, we can look back, and I don't want you to think of this as like a hierarchy that you're better than other people, but this is how we build our business. We just need to be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of our soulmate clients and let them know, hey, I figured out something. I know how to solve this problem that you're experiencing, and I want to help you. That's what it is that we do. That authenticity becomes magnetic. And that is where the momentum and ease begin. That's when we start the quickening. That's when manifestations happen in a rapid rate. That's when all of our teeny tiny steps lead to giant leaps. I don't love the term quantum jumps or quantum leaps because it's trendy and it's overused, but this is what we're talking about. Anybody who discusses a quantum leap or a quantum jump, they've done a lot of teeny tiny steps in order to get there. I love anchoring into this mindset and this belief that if I just improve by 1% every single day, that at the end of the year, I have improved 365%. So every single day I come back to my energetic code and I look at who is it that I came here to be? As a 3, I'm here to expand ideas. That's why I work so well with people with lots of 1 energy. They have way too many ideas. They want to connect those ideas with their heart, with their intuition. They're scared to say yes to something, to hold on to one, to embody it, to embrace it, and take that 1 step forward because they don't want to waste their time anymore. Can you relate to that? Just don't want to waste time. They don't want to go in the wrong direction. They want to know what the right direction for themselves is. 11:33. I love this. So layers upon layers upon layers. The first aspect of numerology that we look at is our ruling number. So for those of you who are brand new to numerology, but know just like a teeny tiny bit, this is very similar to what you might know as the life path number. The numerology that I study is Western numerology. I'm starting to learn Egyptian and Atlantean numerology. That's where I first learned numerology, when I was in Atlantis. I'm starting to remember that. There's also Eastern numerology as well, which is really cool to know and understand. What we're finding, though, in my community, which is primarily women, is that this information, this ancient wisdom, has been passed down mostly by men. The information that you find out there, the books that you see, the apps online or the websites are written from a masculine perspective. Even when I started studying Ayurvedic numerology, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so masculine. And it tends to be very negative. So that's why I say, with caution, pop things into ChatGPT, learn just like a little bit. There's lots of books and lots of resources out there. One of them that has been my greatest teacher, but also has supported me to realize that numerology needs more of that feminine leadership and the divine feminine woven in, and our intuition needs to be a part of it, is Robert Lee Campos. So his books were profound in terms of learning numerology and getting certified in numerology, but I called him Bob, negative Bob. I'm like, oh my gosh, Bob says this. And we would have, good laughs about it because it's coming from an extremely negative perspective. So I caught myself going through the process of understanding myself. And we do this as humans. We look at the negative side of something and we hone in on it. We're like, well, that's what I am. That's who I am. A ruling number 3 has anxiety and worry. So I'm always going to be worried. I'm always going to have anxiety, and I'm always going to have a scarcity mindset. No, that's not true. Numerology and understanding our numbers and starting with the ruling number, the important thing to recognize is that there's a spectrum of energy. There's a disempowered state to these numbers, and there's an empowered state. And at any given moment, we can shift those energies. We can shift to the higher sides, the higher states of the energy. And this is not meant to be judged. If we are operating from the disempowered state, we are not to be critical of ourselves. We're simply meant to bring it into our awareness, feel into it, take responsibility for it, and decide to change it. This is the beginning of the transformation cycle. This is the beginning of a change cycle. So our ruling number is our guiding force in our life, in our business, and in our heart conscious leadership styles. Our ruling number unpacks for us our strengths, the gifts that we are here to share. It supports us to understand how we operate on all energetic levels. So that's the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. By working with all of those energetic planes, as it relates to our ruling number, this is how we get energetically open for business. This is the gateway drug into numerology, I guess you could say. This is the first portal that I encourage you to step into, your ruling number, and making sure that you are energetically open for business. So for example, the obvious would be in the physical plane, do you have a link so people can book something with you to work with you? Are you energetically open for business? Do you have a community on a social platform that you can post and let people know who you are, what it is that you do, who you serve, what your offerings are, and that link to get your soulmate clients into your world? Are you energetically open for business physically? Spiritually? Do you have a spiritual support team? Have you bridged the intelligence of your heart with that of your mind? Are the two working succinct and hand in hand together? Do you have a relationship with the universe? Do you understand the energetic patterns with the universe? I have to laugh. My spiritual support team, they're witty, they're charming, they kick me in the ass often. The lessons that they give me, I'm like, can you just take it easy on me? And they're like, no, you've got big work to do here, babe. And I have a massive team to support me in all of that. Every single time I'm going through a challenge or a struggle, the cards, a healer, another intuitive, a friend will always say, your spiritual support team wants you to reach out to them. I'm like, oh, I thought I talked to them way more than everybody else does. So are you spiritually open for business? Do you have conversations with the universe? Again, numerology, just understanding the basics of numerology helps you understand those predictive patterns and lets the universe know that you are communicating with it. The intelligence of our heart is another way that we communicate with the universe. If we're telling the universe, I want to feel freedom, the universe hears that, but then do you take inspired action that aligns with freedom to show the universe that you're here and you mean business? Because the universe is going to test you. Okay, I heard you. You want higher levels of freedom. Here's a spiritual assignment. Prove it. The cool thing is the universe is going to love us no matter what. If we don't get it the first round, we'll get another spiritual assignment. If we don't learn it that time, we'll get it again. And then when we get totally fed up and frustrated, and I know you guys can all relate to this, maybe our 7th or 8th round, we'll go through that lesson and we're like, oh, I'd rather be right or I'd rather be happy. Being right doesn't matter anymore. I get it. Are you energetically open for business emotionally? Again, this is that heart intelligence. Are you tapping into it? The heart literally has a teeny tiny brain. Did you guys know this? So cool. It's the heart brain. And it produces an electromagnetic field that's 5,000 times stronger than that of our mind. We cannot be emotionally open for business if we are operating on vibrations and frequencies that are really low and really dense. We're operating from places of anxiety, from lack, from anger, from sadness. So learning how to increase those frequencies and increase those vibrations supports us to be emotionally, energetically open for business. And mentally, do you actually believe this is who you are? This is what you came here to do, that abundance is your birthright, so is freedom, so is love, so is joy, and that you can manifest anything that you want, anything that you desire, that you are in charge of your reality. If you do not have an abundant mindset, if you do not believe in who it is that you are and what you came here to do, and the soulmate clients that you came here to serve, and your unique gifts and your blessings, then you will struggle and you will suffer. It will be more difficult. You will energetically block being open for business. So numerology supports us in all 4 of those energetic planes. Knowing your ruling number, again, supports you to understand this is who I am. These are my strengths and my gifts in life and business and my heart conscious leadership style. And we use that as an approach to our strategies. An example, I'm a ruling number 3. Ruling number 3s, abundance is our birthright. We are manifesting badasses. Creativity is one of my greatest strengths. And I amplify things. When I first heard this, it's not that I didn't believe it. I was very hard on myself because I knew it all along, but I didn't embody it. I hadn't embraced it. So one of the number 1 ways that I generate abundance in my business is through my creative gifts. It wasn't until I was coaching Desire Mat facilitators from all over the world. And one of the people from Team D, we were doing a debrief after I had 20 or so coaching sessions under my belt. She said, Anne-Marie, do you realize that you give people $1 million ideas all the time? No. She said, you do. That is one of your greatest gifts. And if you are not charging for this, you should be, because this is what you do best. 11:44 as I say that. You have to believe it. You have to think it. You have to feel it. Connect it to our heart and take inspired action. And our ruling number is that gateway to this. The second layer of our energetic code is the day that we are born. The day that we are born is our personal day number, or our psychic number is what I love to call it. That does come from Eastern numerology, but it just is a better representation than the term personal day. Now there's other numerology systems. So I'm born on the 29th. So you can actually look at the code for the number 29, the 2 and the 9, and what that information says. In Western numerology, this makes sense. We have a tendency to just make things extremely simple. So we're always reducing numbers between 1 and 9, except when it comes to our ruling number. Our ruling number, we are not coded. And this is my belief system. We are not coded the number 1, because all of us have the energy of number 1. That is God, Goddess, all that is, the universe, source. So when it comes to your ruling number, we're working with the numbers 2 to 10 and master numbers 11, 22, and 33. When it comes to your psychic number or your personal day number, it's the day that you were born. The ruling number is all of your numbers in your birthday added up. The psychic number is the day that you were born, and again, reduced to a number between 1 to 9. 29, for example, though, when you add that up, that's 11. That's a master number. Whenever it adds up to 11, 22, or 33, you're going to stick with the numbers 11, 22, and 33. You can reduce it down further. If you're somebody that reads or sees the information or hears the information about one of those master numbers and you're like, I'm not quite there yet, then for myself, I looked at the energy of 2 to support me to really understand the energy of 11 and that higher vibration and that higher frequency, and to really embrace and embody that I hold the number of a master number. Same with 22. If you're like, not really feeling 22 as the builder, and as somebody that is here to create community and deep, authentic connections, then look at the number 4 and the energy of 4. 33, you'd be looking at the energy of 6 in order to better understand those master numbers. Our psychic number is our immediate tendency. So this is actually how we let other people see ourselves. So as any of you who know me know, I don't show up and tell everybody, hey, I'm a master manifester. Abundance is my birthright. I'm here to expand your ideas. That's not how I promote myself. That isn't a part of my marketing per se, but I really do lean on my 2911 2 energy, my psychic number. These are our immediate tendencies because it's connected to our intuitive responses. It's a little bit easier to access maybe than the ruling number. The ruling number is a much bigger energy. This is a little bit smaller energy, but it's easier for us to access. Again, this is how we allow others to see us. This supports us in our daily decisions. It enhances our leadership effectiveness by aligning our actions with our intuition. As somebody who's an 11, my leadership style supports people to see things from multiple perspectives. I'm an incredible mediator. I see things from both sides, and I'm very innovative. I'm an ideator. I forge new paths. I do things very differently than anybody else. When I create courses, they are unique. They are a blend of all of my experiences of everything it is that I know. And again, that's exactly how I show up. I use my ruling number 3 to create and to amplify those things, but it's the 11 that I lean on most. The ruling number and our psychic number are very related to our why we do what it is that we do. I came here to be a creative. The 11, I came here to be a master number 11. I came here to be a spiritual teacher. This relates to my purpose. And there are many other layers. We're not going to talk about all of them, but there are many other layers in numerology that support us to understand our purpose. We can peel back the layers and get into some of the nitty-gritty details. And this is something that we call the energy grid. And in numerology, how we work with the energy grid, it's literally a tic-tac-toe grid. And you take your birthday and you map it out within the tic-tac-toe grid. The bottom left-hand corner is a 1. You go up, straight up, 2, 3. Bottom, middle is 4. 5, 6 is that center column, and 7, 8, 9 is the column on the right-hand side with the 7 starting at the bottom. When we map out our birthday in this energetic grid, this is how I see my soulmate clients and the work they are meant to do with their soulmate clients, how they show up for them, and what they are here to do. So for example, in my own personal code, and I have a lot of clients that I attract that have this 1, 2, 3, that's the arrow of the planner. These are people that love making a plan. They have to make a plan. If they don't have a plan, it causes anxiety, it causes stress. And if somebody else is making the plan and they're not involved in it, it's not good for their nervous system. The gift of the arrow of the planner is there's so many people out there in the world that aren't planners. They don't know how to make a plan. And I'm a firm believer that if you do not have a plan, if you're winging it, you're wanking it. We need to have a plan. We need to have a plan that's flexible and open. I always say, if not this, then something better to the universe. But it's important to have a plan in place. If you're winging it, you're wanking it. I knew you would love that. Yeah. This is how I work with people. This is why I built the Soulful Planner. When my favorite planner was discontinued, I was destroyed. I was like, I built my life on this in the last 8 years. What am I supposed to do without this? And then numerology reminded me, dude, you're a planner. I'm like, okay, I'll just make my own planner. So I did. I took a template. I started making my own planner. I made sure that it incorporated all the spiritual aspects, all the heart conscious rituals that I wanted to do on a regular basis. And then I started weaving in numerology as an aspect of that plan. And then my clients started asking me, wait a minute, how do you know that it's a 3 energy day? I want to know this. Everybody in the collective is experiencing this 3 energy today. I want to know this. So I wove that in to my Soulful Planner. My soulmate clients wanted that. They want to understand the plan. I remember when I launched it, one of my clients said, Anne-Marie, when do you have time to do this? Like, how do you do this? And it was kind of like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy question? I was like, when do you not have time to do this? Like, how do you live your life without doing this? And then I remembered, right, I'm a planner. They're not a planner. They want to learn how to plan. And I'm the one who has those gifts and has those strengths to show them. And this makes complete sense in terms of business and strategy and entrepreneurship and mapping things out to create something that's sustainable, to create something that feels how it is that we want to feel, and that supports us to eventually scale and grow it to be something that creates longevity. So our energy grid, how and what we do with our clients. I also attract a lot of people with the arrow of determination, 159 in your birthday. These are people that are ambitious. These are people that are driven by success. These are recovering A-types or A-types, which I am. And these are people that they do what they say they're going to do. I love people who have the arrow of determination in their birth chart because they always do what they say they're going to do, but it doesn't always feel how it is they want to feel. And so I am here to support them to understand that if it doesn't feel how it is they want to feel, it is not a victory. When they work with clients, people get to borrow that energy. They will do what they say they're going to do. They will take it across the finish line. Everything about our energetic code, if we embrace it, if we embody it, and we sit in that energy, especially in that empowered side, the empowered state, the people that we work with, they get to borrow that energy by being with us, by being in our own energetic code. It is not a coincidence that I have helped people cross 6 figures and even 7 figures in their business, because abundance is my birthright. I am here to amplify and expand ideas. People who come into my world, they borrow my beliefs, they borrow my energy, and they move the needle forward in their business because of it. There's 2 other things that I want to briefly touch on before we open this for Q&A. There's also our sun card. So just like in astrology, we have a zodiac sign. This is somewhat similar, a lot more complex, yet still very simple. So this is when cardology comes in. Ooh, I pulled the 2 of spades. I'll talk about that maybe later. So it's a card based on a deck of cards. And if you're like me, I grew up playing cards. I was obsessed with cards. I was an only child until I was 10 years old. I played a lot of solitaire. I was the kid that was like crazy eights, go fish. I always wanted to play cards, and sometimes I would make up card games. So again, this was me remembering past lives, but not really consciously, but subconsciously. And that's why I was very addicted to playing with cards. So our sun card, we are coded with one of the cards from a deck of cards. So your sun card represents your highest potential in this lifetime. Again, connected to your purpose. It is the work that you are here to do. And each day of the year is also assigned one of these cards. Today is a 5 of clubs, for example. So it supports us in changing our beliefs. My sun card is the 7 of clubs. I just experienced it on Sunday. The 7 of clubs is a spiritual teacher, is a keeper of wisdom and knowledge, and is here to share that and express that with the world in a very simple way of putting it. So again, your sun card is your highest potential. What's amazing about the sun card is when you step into this, when you own this, when you embrace it, when you embody it and believe in it, and you start showing up and doing the work of that card, then you receive a cosmic reward. So it's kind of funny, like the universe, God, source, brings us to Earth School. Our soul chooses a contract, comes to Earth School. And this is what I came here to do. But the universe is like, I'm going to make you forget everything that you already know. And I'm going to give you a series of spiritual assignments and challenges so you can remember who it is that you are and the work that you came here to do. And that sun card is the aspect of that. And the universe is like, and when you figure it out, then I'll gift you rewards. I will support you by amplifying your energy. So by embracing your sun card, you receive a cosmic reward. And this cosmic reward is your soulmate client code. It is one aspect of it, but it is the most important aspect of it. So by showing up as a spiritual teacher, by sharing the ancient knowledge and wisdom, everything that I have hoarded. I was learning and teaching myself about essential oils when I was 16 years old and natural ways to heal my own body when I was a teenager. I remember when my mom was really sick and I was making alternative suggestions. Her response was, well, how do you know this? I'm like, Mom, you're the one that got me the books from Publishers Clearinghouse to heal your own body and natural modalities. I was learning about homeopathic medicine in my teens and my early 20s. So by embracing that, by owning that and showing up, and I didn't really fully do this as much when I first started the side hustle as I did when I learned this in numerology in 2021. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that it's just been this past year that I've come out of the psychic closet and admitted that I am psychic, that I have psychic skills and abilities. I'm clairvoyant, I'm claircognizant. Actually, I'm all of them because I've studied metaphysical development and I know how to access all of them. I thought I was clairsentient, that was my number one, being an empath, but it is not my number one. Claircognizant, I would say, is number one. Clairvoyant is number two. And that relates to my ruling number and also my psychic number as well. And that's what I love about numerology and working with my clients is that I can help them understand their psychic abilities and which aspect of psychic development to focus on to be able to amplify their own intuition as well. My cosmic reward is that 4 of hearts that I spoke of at the beginning. Somebody who wants to have their cake and eat it too, wants to be extremely successful in their life and their career, but also have deep, authentic connections with other people, who wants to experience cosmic love, who wants to be a part of a family, but more important, a soul family. They are somebody who is a magnet for making money and powerful at managing that money when they are in their empowered states. They solve problems quickly. So by being the 7 of clubs, I am gifted the 4 of hearts. It is not a coincidence that when I made those changes in 2018 and 2019, and I was focusing on building my business, I was also ending a relationship and calling in cosmic love. And I was able to manifest it like that. Not with who I expected. I would have bet you $1 bazillion that it wouldn't be the person that came into my world was my cosmic love, which was my grade 8, grade 9 boyfriend, but he is. And then I looked at our sacred contract in numerology to see that we have 6 out of 10 connections in Venus, the planet of love. So yes, there was a day where I questioned if it was actually cosmic love, and numerology supported me to feel validated, to feel seen, to feel heard in this experience, in this contract with another person. So by me stepping into my sun card as the 7 of clubs, that's how I was able to access the 4 of hearts and call in higher levels of cosmic love. Oh, so much juiciness, so much information. That concludes everything that I have to share for today. This is all information that you can access with all of my offerings. I have a monthly membership where spiritual entrepreneurs gather around the world, first Wednesday, every single month. We talk about the energies. Today, I talked about the energies of our own personal code. There is also the universal energies. There's day energy, month energy, which I kind of touched on. There's the year energy. There is also our personal forecast. So there's so many layers that I didn't touch on. But in that collective, we talk about the universal energies that are coming through and how we can strategically plan for it in our business. I have the incubator, which you can take an idea, bring a challenge, and we incubate it. And I do so using my psychic gifts and abilities and looking at your energetic code. In July and August, to access the incubator, you have to be a part of the collective, which is only $44 a month, and you can cancel anytime. And I always have the replays. Once a quarter, I offer one-to-one readings. You're in luck. In July, I have a small space for people to do these one-to-one readings so you can begin to understand your energetic code. All of this is in the immersion. So today, what I shared with you is the beginning aspect, the heart and soul of your business, beginning to understand why you do what it is that you do, your energetic code, your heart conscious leadership style, and your soulmate client code to then build strategies out from there. There will be a replay sent out, and within that replay, I'll point you in the direction of my website. So if you do feel immediately called to begin working together and you want to hop on one of those spots, you're welcome to do so. And because you've joined this masterclass, if you want a conscious business audit for free for 30 minutes, I will gift that to you. I do not offer that to anybody and everybody, but if you're like, Anne-Marie, I want to work with you, but I'm not too sure how, I know how much I want to invest, can we have a quick conversation? And then I can get the inside scoop in terms of your business and where you're at, where it is that you want to go. And I can suggest a really good resource for you. Okay, so I am going to open it up to Q&A now, and I'm also going to look at the chat. So I saw them coming in. This has been amazing. Thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate you being here and saying that. Melinda saying me, please, at 12:03. So I'm guessing that's more information of how we can work together. I would love that. I would sit on my bedroom floor and play solitaire for hours when I was a kid. I love it. I love it. I love going, I think I really love going camping. I mean, I'm an outdoorsy gal. I have always been an outdoorsy gal. When I was a kid, I was making mud pies with my cousin Derek, and we were making Katie eat the worms. So I've always been somebody that's very much connected to the earth, and I can see that in my energetic code. But I think I love camping as well, because that's when it's easy to convince people to play cards because there's no other distractions there. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, cards are so fun. Okay, so feel free to unmute yourself at this time. If you have any questions, you're welcome to unmute and we can have a conversation, or you can pop them in the chat. So much good information coming through. Thank you. Okay, big love. I know I blasted you guys with a lot, so you can understand if there isn't a lot of questions today. Tomorrow, day 2 is going to be understanding the intelligence of your heart through your energetic code. So we're going to dive into your ruling number and the intelligence of your heart as it relates to your ruling number. So we're going to start to understand the energy of our ruling number, and we're going to connect it to the intelligence of your heart. My intention, which maybe I didn't say at the beginning, is for you to not only get all of this information, to receive a lot of value, but to take these insights and actually implement them, bring them into the physical world, take some inspired action, and start to create some magic in your life and in your business. Oh, I love you so much. You're very welcome. Can you tell us how to figure out our sun card? That is new to me. Yes, thank you for asking. If you are not a part of my community, please join the Numerology of Business Facebook group. Within there, I have posted a very blurry, I will get my graphic designer on it. Somebody gifted this to me, but there's our sun cards mapped out. So every single day of the year is all mapped out. If you feel comfortable popping your birthday into the chat, I can tell you what it is right now. But in that community, if you look at the photos, you'll see a photo of January to December at the top, and then the days of the month on the left, and then the card coded to each of those days. But I'm happy to look it up for you. And for those of you who are familiar with numerology already, cardology is really easy if you just listen to your intuition. So you know what the numbers 1 to 9 are. You probably know numbers 10. You probably know numbers 11, 12, and 13, which are the 10, Jack, Queen, King. And then diamonds is about your wealth and worth and values. The hearts are about love and relationships and family. The clubs are about mindset and belief systems, communication, and technology. And spades are about our purpose, the work that we're here to do, and our health. So if you are a card and you're like, I don't know what this means, 8 of diamonds. 8 represents abundance, as you know. And diamonds represents wealth and worth. So it is the most abundant card in the deck, in my opinion. 10 of diamonds is as well. Okay, I'm going to look these up for you. Basically, what I'm saying is trust your intuition. This is a project that I started in 2023. I had to pause it. I had the wrong leader for the project, but there's a group of numerologists, and we're going to collaborate and create a new resource for you to teach you how to intuitively read the cards and trust your own intuition with this information. Okay. I only need the month and the day, but I'm happy to know what year you were born as well. So May 17th, I have my glasses on, so hopefully I can see it easily. Vicky, you are a 2 of diamonds. So this means that you are all about community and connections and collaborations and partnerships. That's the work that you are here to do. And the communities that you build, the partnerships, the collaborations need to be rooted in values. The more that you do this work, the easier it's going to be to share that and teach that to other people. This is one of the main reasons that people are coming to you. They want more community, they want more connections, and they want to trust their intuition, but they don't know how. They want to have source connection, but they're unsure how to go about doing that and strengthening their intuition. And you support them to do that through their value system. You also support them to understand how they can call in higher levels of abundance through partnerships and collaborations. So what's really interesting, and I hope it's okay to say this, Vicky and I are in another community together, and she was sharing that she has been shifting her own community. And she's looking for people who are more aligned with her particular set of values that she has right here, right now. So you are going through a massive upgrade. Keep doing it. Keep moving in this direction because that's who you are. October 29th. I actually, I know this because 4 of Hearts is October 31st. So you're going to be the 6 of Hearts. Just let me double check though. Yeah. 6 of Hearts. So you are here, Melinda, to take responsibility for love in relationships. You are here to usher in higher levels of harmony, peace, and balance in your relationship with your family, with your friends, with your soul family. You are somebody that really needs to work with the spiritual support family if you don't. The 6, I mean, everybody is happier when they have a connection with the universe. So this is for everybody, but you will just experience higher levels of peace in your own life if you create a stronger connection with source. And numerology is a great way to do that. Understand your own personal code, understand your energetic code. Because again, you're an expression of God, you're an expression of the universe. So by understanding yourself, you begin to understand God, Goddess, all that is, and the universe. And there is so much peace in that. There is so much harmony in that. And it creates a balance because you begin to understand this is what I came here to do. You're also here to take responsibility for karmic relationships. Yeah. I just wanted to say, once you outed yourself, your actual energy leveled up 1,000 times. I would love to know my sun card, March 13th, right? Marissa has known me for a very long time. She was a part of the Desire Map community with me. The Desire Map is no longer, I mean, the book still exists, but Desire Map facilitators, and I supported that process, and I believe Marissa did as well. We helped shift it into heart-centered leadership in a new program. One of the things I did before I stepped away from that community was plant the seed that the world's not done with the Desire Map. So I think you can expect that by the end of this year, Desire Map will come back around, which is so foundational. If you can't wait, then just hang out with me. This is my area of expertise. And again, I support people to collapse time by looking at their energetic code. And then I know the intelligence of their heart. By knowing your energetic code, I know exactly how it is that you want to feel. And I know your values as well. And stick with me. I will teach you that and you will see that in much grander ways. Marissa, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's true. Once you own who you are and take responsibility for who you are, you energetically open for business and you open for life as well. You just show up in a much higher vibrational state. And again, that becomes authentic, and authenticity is what's magnetic. Yeah. Okay. March 13th. 10 of diamonds. You are so abundant. You are here to seek joy in everything that you do. You're an ideator, you're an innovator. The wealth and the worth piece are a part of it. So everything that you do, every idea that comes your way, every new path that you want to forge, bring it back to your values that you are here to embody and ask yourself if this is going to be an expression of that. You are meant to work with large groups of people, Marissa. You're also meant to bring in lots of abundance in this lifetime, and you're here to support other people to access those higher levels of abundance as well. Thank you. Not that you weren't awesome before. Thank you. Yeah. I say I'm kind of a big deal. My kind of a big dealness amplified for sure. Yeah. Melinda, that's what I'm striving towards. That's amazing. Vicky, you are very welcome. 100% on point. Thank you, Vicky. So much information. So make sure you're part of the Numerology of Business Facebook community. I do free lives in there every single Monday, which is an energetic forecast. This is where I'm going to start doing this. The new people that come into the community, one of the questions that I ask them to be in that Facebook community is their birthday. So I'm going to show up and do mini readings live. And thank you for validating this. I was like, I probably should just talk about their ruling number and their sun card as an entry point, as a gateway point. Yeah. I have loved being along your side and in this journey and watching you level up and become even more you. Thank you. I love you so much. There's so much evidence of flow here today. Yeah, this was great. Thank you, Anne-Marie. You're very welcome. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I can't wait to connect with all of you tomorrow as well. Again, we're going to go deeper. We're going to go wider. We're going to go higher. So we're going to look at your ruling number. So if you haven't figured it out yet, figure out your ruling number for tomorrow. It's your entire birthday all added up, and then reduce it to a number between 2 and 11, 22, or 33. So we're going to talk about those ruling numbers. We're going to talk about the intelligence of your heart, how it is that you want to feel moving forward, and some of the values that you have, and use that as your heart compass. Use that as the center point for you to embody, for you to anchor into, and to take inspired action from that place. Thank you again so much for being here, for all of you who were able to attend live, just for signing up, just for saying yes to this, for watching those replays, and for hopping into that Numerology of Business Facebook community and just sharing your experience today. I'll send the replay after I've had something to eat and a body break to move my body, and you can expect that replay today. And I will see all of you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Love it. Big love. Thanks.